Welcome to Woodland Permaculture. I'm Jenny Wood. Today I'm really excited because I'm starting on my very last big project to complete the design aspect of my food forest. I'm so excited because after this I can start focusing on growing things and taking care of my plants and making some trellises and smaller projects that just enhance everything. But this is the last infrastructure type of project that I have to do. So I'm excited, and it's going to be a fire pit area. Well, with a caveat, I still have to really double check the regulations on fire pits around here. So let's make sure I can have one where it is. So let me just show you what I'm doing. You can kind of see this pathway of bricks here, and it goes around there and then off into that direction. And that's where the fire pit area is going to be. And even if there's not a fire pit there, it'll be a nice patio area where we can put some chairs and just have conversations. It'll be underneath an apple tree and a cherry tree and hopefully eventually a pistachio tree way in the back corner. So it'll be a beautiful area no matter what happens. So today I'm finishing up getting the grass that's still left in there out so that I have a nice just dirt area to be able to place my bricks and to be able to make the patio area. So not very exciting today. I won't shoot a whole lot of it. You don't have to watch me dig some more, but then we'll see what I do after that. I have to do a little research, find out exactly how to make a nice brick patio, and then go from there. Oh, and here's Tiasa. You don't usually get to see Tiasa, my other cat. Hi, Tiasa. And I was bad and forgot to videotape the last couple of steps that I did. So let me catch you up. After digging out all of the grass from this area, what I did was dug out a little more and tried to rake it out and smooth it out as best as I could. In the process, I kept finding more places with grass that I had to dig out. It was so frustrating. But the next thing I did was get some gravel. Now, I was lucky and got some gravel for my construction crew who's working on my house, and they were willing to just give that to me and deliver it for me, so that was great. And so Andy and I worked yesterday to shovel it into wheelbarrows and pour it back in here and lay it all out, and then they also loaned me a vibrating compactor which we used to really smash it down into the dirt, the ground underneath it. And they also said to spray water on it as we did that to really help it pack down in there. So we did that yesterday, and now I'm just going to use the tamper that they also loaned me to do a little bit final edging and a little bit of detail work just to make sure as much as possible is as flat as possible. Once that's done, tomorrow I have a yard of sand that's being delivered from the local rockery, Tracy Topsoil. So they're going to dump a yard of sand on my driveway out front. And again, we're going to scoop it all into wheelbarrows and bring it back here and dump it in here. And I'm going to lay that out and smooth it out. It's supposed to be about an inch of sand. And after that, it's time to lay some bricks. So I'm excited about that. You may also notice back behind me a pile of wood. I found online somebody was giving away firewood, so I went and grabbed me some, and I cannot wait to put that in my fire pit and make my first fire. Woo! Bumblebee, all right. To make my first fire. One of the things I really want to do with my fire pit is to make charcoal. So whenever I do that, I'll make sure to videotape that and let you be a part of that too. So check out me just doing some detail work with the tamper. So the next step is sand, and I'm just now getting a delivery of a yard of sand to put into my patio fire pit area. tight. So now I just have to get it into the backyard. I'm gonna have to get my wheelbarrow and shovel out again. Okay, before I start dumping sand in the area, I wanted to tell you about a little tip that I found on YouTube. What they say with your sand is that it should be no more than an inch high, and that's so that it doesn't get too soft for the bricks to, you know, mush around too much down there. So to keep it at exactly 1 inch, they suggest you lay down 1-inch pipes, and then using a piece of wood like this or something else, you pull it along to level out the sand, and it won't go any lower than the 1-inch pipes. Now these two are ones that I used for my greenhouse, and they're like 1.25 inches, so I'm just going to go with that because you know me. So I'm going to put down some sand right here first, and then I'll start leveling it out. This part reminds me of baking and leveling off a teaspoon or a tablespoon of flour. It's taken a little bit to get used to that, and the poles are not quite even in length, so that makes it a little tricky, but I think it's working. Got some more to do though. Okay, so I have sand all laid out at about 1 inch, all within the area of my patio. You can see that it's going to kind of connect with, you know, walking stones over here, and also it's going to connect with my patios over there, my urbanite patios. So this is what it's going to look like. I'm excited. You may be wondering about my fire pit. Basically what I did was just dug down deeper, maybe just 6 or 8 inches deeper than I dug down for the patio itself. And you can see I built some walls out of brick, just old brick that I had laying around, and these round edgers I put on top. And I've made it a little bit higher. I went in and added another layer of brick to make it a little higher. I want to be able to make charcoal in there, so that's my goal. And so you can see, probably if you go looking closely, the bottoms of the round edgers are fluted. I think that's the word you use, where they're decorative. I decided to put those down because to make charcoal you need to be able to put a lid on there. Now I don't have a lid yet. I'm waiting to get a lid. I have to look for one. But once I do, I want it to be able to fit better and not let so much air in, because I'm pretty sure that's necessary for charcoal. So here, this is this step done. The next thing I got to do is start laying brick. It's going to be a few days because I have a painting project to start, and I have to get that done first. But once I get started laying some brick, I'll come back and show you how I do that. Okay, I'm finally getting back to my patio project. You guys don't know this, but I had to put it off for like a week because of painting inside my house. But now that that's done, I'm back to work out here, and the next thing I'm doing is putting on this edging around the outside of where the patio bricks are going to go. Admittedly, I probably should have done this first before putting in the gravel and the sand, but honestly, I didn't think of it until now. So I think it's going to make it look better, a little more polished, and give a good backing for the bricks so that they can't move very well. So I bought this long edging, and it comes with stakes that you put in periodically, pound them in, and let's see how I go. I have to kind of push it down in there to get it down past the gravel. So hopefully this will work out. It has promise. I was able to put it in there. I dug it down in there as deep as I could. I did have to adjust it, pulling it a little bit so that it could reach to the almost to the end. We got about a foot on either end that doesn't have the border, but I think that's okay rather than opening up another whole border and just using a couple of feet of it. I hate wasting things. So I think I'm going to leave it like that, except that I'm going to put a little bit of dirt on the outside. There's now a bit of a gap, so I'm going to put a little bit of dirt on the outside of it and maybe some more sand inside of it because of, kind of the gap that's now in there. And also I think it will hold it up and make it a little, make the sand a little deeper in here so that the bricks come up a little higher along the border. So, but otherwise I think it's going to work out pretty well. Let's see how I do the rest of this. Okay, so now that I've got some more sand laid in there and kind of smoothed out, I think it's time to lay some brick. Oh, get your head out of the gutter. All right, finally getting started on the bricks. So excited. I wanted to tell you about these bricks. When we first moved in the main, one of the bigger rooms, which was being used as a bedroom at the time and which we have now made into a family room / kitchen, had a wood burning stove with a huge brick mantle and base around it. And I knew we were going to get rid of that wood stove, and so we had the base and the mantle dismantled, and we made sure to save the bricks. And I knew I would be able to use those bricks for something, and I didn't know it would be this. I originally intended this area to be urbanite like the rest of my pathways, but I ran out of concrete, so I'm using the bricks. So the only caveat is I'm not positive I have enough bricks to do the whole thing. So if I run out of bricks, I will have to source some bricks from somewhere else. Of course, I will make sure that they are reused bricks, not new bricks or anything. But that's where these bricks came from, and I'm excited to be able to reuse them. I have a specific pattern in mind when looking up how to put the bricks in. There are several different ways that you can do a pattern, and in fact, it can, the sky's the limit. You can do whatever pattern you want. And so I decided on one that I think will work best for the space. The first time all the way around, I'm putting the bricks perpendicular to the edging. And then when I move into the next the next line, the next row, I will put them in parallel like this. And then my plan is to do 2 rows of perpendicular, another row of parallel, and then rows of perpendicular after that. And I think that at the smallest space, that will be the exact right amount for it to get into the center part. But we will see how it works out. I know that it's not going to work out exactly the way I planned, because it never does. But I'm prepared for that and know that I can rearrange them, start all over if I need to, or whatever I need to do to make sure that these bricks fit in here exactly the way I like them and to make them look good. So I'm going to let you see how I put these bricks in for a while, and we'll see how far I get. As you can see, as it curves here, it makes spaces, V-shaped spaces in between the bricks. I'm trying to minimize those as much as possible and keep them even in between each brick. Once I'm done, I will put a huge layer of sand on top of all the bricks, and it will go down in between and fill in all those spaces and will hold the bricks in place, and they will be pretty solid, almost as solid as if I had put cement in there. All right, I am done for today. I would do more today, but I have officially run out of bricks. A lot sooner than I thought I would run out of bricks. But I think so far it looks pretty good, and even the husband kind of approves, so that's a good sign. I like how they look. There's not too many spaces, and I just need to, and they stopped. I ran out of bricks at a really good place, where if I put in bricks that even look different, very different than these bricks, it'll just look like part of the pattern. So I'm happy with that. Let's go over here and get a nice shot of the entire thing without my shadow in it. So this is kind of what it looks like. And I think it looks pretty good so far. I'll let you know what kind of bricks I get and what happens next. In the meantime, what if I give you a little backyard update? I'm excited because I've added quite a number of things back here, and it's really starting to take shape. The most recent thing I planted was this grapefruit tree. Planted it just 2 or 3 days ago, and it hasn't lost its leaves, so yay. And it's going to be a red flame, which I hear is a cross between a ruby red and a white grapefruit. I've got my coffee berries and my ceanothus, which is a California native, so I'm excited about that. And I've got my a couple of scented geraniums like that one. And right back here, these little guys, I just transplanted some seedlings. I've never grown these. These are chickpeas. So I transplanted those a few days ago as well. So far they haven't died. So, you know, let's have some hope. Maybe they'll actually make me some chickpeas. And I'm learning as I go. And then here is my 4-in-1 cherry. I'm a little sad about my cherry tree. It's getting a few cherries, like that one right there. But a lot of them have kind of just shriveled up and turned black. Let me see if I can find some to show you. There's a bunch like up in here. I don't know if you can see those. but they just kind of shriveled up and turned black. And I asked Tracy over at Tracy's nursery, and she thinks, I think she talked to the grower, and they think it's because it got really hot and windy during the time that it was flowering. And so I am hoping to get even just a few cherries from this cherry tree this year, and hopefully next year will be better. I recently got this, a Concord grape. I'm very excited about that. I really need to make a trellis for it, and trellises are on my list of small projects after my biggest project here is done. Here's a load of free firewood I got. Free firewood I found online and just went and picked it up, and I'm going to put that in my fire pit whenever that's done. Here's a Stella cherry tree. I think you saw me plant that with Vienna a while back. Also recently I got this. This is a Mexican lime, or a key lime tree. So we'll see how that does. That's exciting. And then over here, past all the pumps, here is the pistachio. This is my male pistachio, for which I need to have a female to go with it. And I'm searching for one of those. I think I may have found a source online, and I've got to do a little more research. Back here in my greenhouse, which I was keeping open for a couple of days because it was really hot. But here are my seedlings. So excited about my seedlings. A lot of them are doing really well in my greenhouse. Some of them are not doing well. These down here were supposed to be strawberries, and a few tiny ones came up and then they died. Same thing over here. There's one of these left, and actually I didn't label these well enough, so I don't know what that is. So we'll see how that does. This right here is the lone little plant in this tray that has sprouted. None of the others sprouted. That is comfrey. And none of the others sprouted. So, you know, we're getting there. Here's some French marigolds down there, cucumbers, and some peppers. These are nasturtiums for some pest control. So, and here are all my tomatoes. All my tomatoes are doing really great. I have some, these are E.G. Early Girl tomatoes. These are seeds that I harvested myself from last year's tomato crop. These back here are just a kind that I purchased. So they're a red Siberian, and then these are what, an Italian heirloom tomato. So I've got 3 different kinds of tomatoes that go in there. So that's exciting. This is my side yard here, which has my compost pile and a big old pile of just dirt that I have left over. Don't know what to do with. Over here I've got a few plants that I planted down here, just to start getting some nice planting happening over here. Eventually this should have a few more plants along it, and this area right over here, this is where I plan to put some sort of fowl. I originally was thinking chickens, but after hearing a podcast about quail, I'm thinking about quail. Either way, I need a fowl that's going to give me some eggs. Hopefully not foul eggs. Silly me. Okay, so that is pretty much a good update for my backyard. I'm very excited with how it's turning out right now. I am waiting to get some stone fruit plants. I'm sourcing those, and I'm also sourcing a couple of California hazelnuts and all-in-one almond for the front yard. So as soon as I get those and can start planting some of those, I'll let you know. So, oh, and here, oh, see these. These are a couple of tomato plants that I purchased, and they are doing great. I'm very excited about those. And a couple of green bean plants over here that I think are doing well too. So I'm excited about those. I've lost several things, but such is the way things go, right? In the back, along the wall, I planted a bunch of seeds for different flowers. And there's hopefully some vining flowers, and only a few have popped up. So I'm kind of disappointed by that, but you know, I hope to keep trying. All right, I'll get back with you and let you know what happens when I get some more bricks. Hey there, so it's been a few days, well, more like a week, since I've been able to really work on my patio fire pit area. I ran out of bricks, the bricks that I told you about from my mantle and pedestal for the fire place that we had. And so now I had to find some bricks. It took me a couple of days, but I was able to find some bricks at a local landscaping took me a few more days to kind of meet up with him and to be able to get some bricks, but now I have enough bricks to finish it up. And as you can see, I've already been working on it a bit and I've made some good progress. These particular bricks came with a bunch of mortar attached to them. So I've been having to take a hammer and chisel off that mortar on probably about 2/3 of these bricks to be able to make them usable for my project. But I think I'm getting close and I hope to finish today. All right, so I've got all the bricks laid. I ran a little short, which is why there's a little bit of space in there, but after having scavenged a few more old bricks from the yard and replacing them and putting them down there, see where it's not quite as nice down there, and then moving some other bricks over here and rearranging things as best I could, this is what I came up with. There's still some space around the fire pit, as you can see, but I think I'm going to fill that in with lava rock. I got some lava rock to put down into the fire pit, and I think it'll look pretty good if I put some lava rock around the fire pit as well. There's a few other little spaces like this. I think I'm just going to put some gravel in there. But then the next step is to get sand and spread over the top, and with a broom sweep it down into the cracks, and that sand should keep these bricks in place and keep it pretty solid without having to use like concrete or something. All right, take a look. None of my projects are perfect, but I think it looks pretty good. We're going to set up some chairs out here for a nice little fire pit area. I've already got a pile of wood that I get to burn in there. And one of the big things I want to do with my fire pit is make charcoal, biochar. That is excellent for my garden, and I cannot wait to learn how to make that, and I will take you along with me. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this project, and more is to come, although this was my very last big project on the structure of my garden. So yay! I have hit a real milestone, and I'm so excited. And now I can concentrate a little more on my garden, getting more trees and plants and weeding and mulching and making sure everything is just right. And so I am so excited for this milestone. Thank you so much for being with me through all of this. It's been about a year since I started all of these big projects, and soon, because of that, I will do a full-on tour, a before and after tour of the garden and of my yard, so you guys can see how far I've come in the last year. This has been a great year for me, and I'm so excited that you've been with me. Thank you so much. You guys take care, and we will see you soon. God bless.